Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for another Premier League Watchalong. Man United versus Liverpool is just kicked off. Sorry, I'm a bit been bandwagon all over again. But we're here now, yeah. The game has gone ahead on time despite the protest outside the stadium as well. One is on his way as well. I will be joined by him. As soon as he hits backstage, I'll be putting him into the stream as well, guys. So, yeah, and also if you're a Man United fan or Liverpool fan in the chat, you want to join us in the chat and give your thoughts on your team this season, let me know. I'll put the link in the stream for you to join. I'll get a scoreboard up for you guys. 1 second, bear with me. So close up, bloody hell. Oh dear, been a long day. Here we go. And we're up and running. Here we go. The game that never was at one point. Underway. Liverpool in their weird all blue. I say blue. So that turquoisey blue kit from head to toe, and United in their black socks, white shorts, and traditional bus seats home kit. Let's make the screen bigger as well. Oh, anyway. Bear with me a second. Also, by the way, Man United made 10. As expected, Man United put a stronger team out today. Oh, Liverpool in the attack. And Firmino fucked it. Came for a penalty, though. So it's not good to VAR to see if it's on purpose or not. There's nothing you can do. Come on. If they give that, there's no... Football's gone. Football is gone. If that gets given to Liverpool, that's not a pen. I'm sorry, no. Yeah, it hits his hand, but for anyone who's watching, you're agreeing. It's literally he's nothing he can do. His Eric Bailly is going down, and it's on the arm, which he's using to help himself not break his neck. Basically, it hits it. He can't move the ball. He can't move the ball. He can't move his hand out the way of the ball. Ball comes in, cleared easily. As I say, Man United have made 10 changes to their team that played on Tuesday night against Leicester. Monday or Tuesday, one of the two. Yeah, Tuesday night against Leicester City, where they handed Man City the title. It's a must. It also is a must win. I will say I keep saying it is a must win for Liverpool tonight. Even though Chelsea did lose last night, let's give Liverpool a bit of a lifeline to salvage a top 4 spot this season. If they don't win, if Liverpool were to lose this, you really definitely. I said they wouldn't. I said 10 weeks they won't get top 4, but this will pretty much confirm it. And then even the most diehard Liverpool fan will find it hard to say that Liverpool will get top 4 from here if they lose tonight. All right. Get your score predictions in, by the way. I'm going to go for going by the lineups and the changes that have been made. The Man United, 10 of Man United plays are fresher, so I'll say then Man United will win 2-1. I think it'll be 2-1, if not either 1 or 2-1 United. Big up Steve, the Arsenal Misfit, and Mark in the chat already. Let's see if we can find Pete again. Yesterday's infamous Tottenham fan. Oh my God! What was that from Becker? Liverpool messed about with the ball at the back, and Becker basically passes it straight to Cavani. By more luck than anything, because the way Cavani intercepts it gives Becker a bit of time to get back in goal, and he just drags it wide in the end. Like a bit scrappy here. Becker's been, he's a good goalkeeper, don't get me wrong, but this season he's made a lot of mistakes you wouldn't think he'd make since he's joined Liverpool. going to say now. Also, Mark, I know obviously you're a Whitehall Rangers fan. And obviously, Saturday is the final day of the season for the SPL, and Rangers are playing Aberdeen. I think it's at home as well at Ibrox. I think double check that, but we'll be covering that game. A nice early kickoff. It's a 12:30 kickoff, so we'll be covering that for a watch along because the Rangers are going for the invincible season, 100-point season, along with their first title in 10 years. They get a trophy lift as well, so we'll be covering that as well. Kick off at 12:30, go live about 12:20-ish. But we'll be covering that. And tomorrow I'm doing a podcast with a few of the guys. Basically reminiscing on the Invincible season, because it's this Saturday coming. The day itself will be 17 years to the day itself on Saturday that we completed the 03-04 season and went the season unbeaten. So tomorrow's going to be sort of a reminiscent, because obviously Richard's doing a thing. His FA Cup final as well on Saturday. So also Richard's doing something on his channel for the FA Cup final, which I'll be taking part in. So we're going to do. I'm going to do it 24 hours prior. But yeah, it's just a celebrate the weekend, reminiscent, look back on that season basically, and get some other people's memories from that season, their own personal highlights and all that. Going back to the chat, I rewatched Pete this morning. I still can't believe he kept coming back for more. So exactly. Even in terms of mentioning Pompey and Liverpool, Pompey and Wigan about winning the FA Cup, like, yeah, they've won it. So again, that says it all. And since then, they've been 17 years ago on this Saturday coming, it'll be the 17 year from when we completed the season against Leicester at home. Obviously, it's FA Cup final day, and plus Richard's doing his thing on these channel for the FA Cup. FA Cup celebration based on Arsenal and Arsenal fans coming on again, going back through the years of Arsenal's FA Cup years, and even the ones where you may not have won that year and this, that, and the other. So get people with different memories and all that, and a bit of a laugh. But that's why I'm doing the Invincible one tomorrow, and I've got a couple of cards already lined up for it. I'd like to hear back from maybe a few other people. Yes, is Ibrox going to get as they get trophy. There you go. And we're joined by Warren. Warren, how you doing?
Not so bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. We're sort of had a goal already from Man United, but Man United, Cavani fluffed it. It's been a bit scrappy. How you been though? Still,
yeah.
Have you recovered from Pete last night?
Oh, Pete was comedy gold, wasn't he? I mean, to turn around and bang on about Birmingham and Wigan and Portsmouth, they've all won a trophy. It's that crap.
1-0.
How crap must you be? How crap have you got to be if you can't?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was just saying before you came in that you'd even brought up Pompey and Wigan. I'm like, look where they are now. In the last 10 years, they've won something and been relegated to League 1 and 2, and you still ain't won nothing.
Yes, you would think. Just a friend of mine sort of called them considerate lovers, because he said they were always coming second. Which I thought was brilliant.
Oh dear! Unless we say that Man United have scored, it's an own goal, but yeah.
Back to the Liverpool. But this is a massive thing for them, even though there's not a lot on it. Liverpool and Man United, they tend to. I mean, I worked in Liverpool. I worked in Liverpool for 5 years. Do not underestimate the hatred there. The hatred there is absolutely staggering, mate. They detest each other with a passion. Mike in the chat can't literally again because of YouTube, and because he's coming from a comment from YouTube. YouTube will not allow us
to show even a second, even an image of the game, because then them and the Premier League will come after us and shut us down. Otherwise, as I said before, and comments will come up like that before, I'd quite happily put it on the screen and in some capacity and have me in the back, like on the other half of the screen or whatever. But we can't do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it'd be lovely if we could. And you can't really watch it on the radio, mate, to be honest.
Oh dear.
But no, I'm out by the back door having a quick cigarette, and I'll go out and watch it on the. I've got the monitor screen in watching where the ball is and where the ball's played to and everything else.
Yeah,
not gonna pay a ton of money to watch Man United Liverpool.
Oh God, no, Jesus. Oh dear. I mean, I don't know if you heard, but there's protests again today at Old Trafford.
Yeah, when I was at work, somebody was saying that they were doing their best to get it shut down again. That had blocked all the boats to the hotels or something.
Oh, basically, I think apparently some set of fans drove up in the area, and they drove up to where Liverpool were.
Yeah,
and then literally parked their car in front of the coach, so they couldn't go anywhere.
See, I don't see the point of that. I don't see the point of that because you're just playing into the hands of the police there. All you're going to do is end up getting arrested. It's not the player's fault, It really isn't. It's not the player's fault. It's not the manager's fault. Let them prepare for the game. But be outside and let your voices be heard.
Yeah, exactly.
And by all means, protest like mad. And then when you get in the ground, I just wonder the first thing somebody's going to do to spoil it, where they decide to have a pitch sit in, and 10,000 fans climb on the pitch and they sit on the pitch and refuse to move. Well, that's just going to get you. Okay, it might work in a certain way, and the club could be fined left, right, and centre. But at the end of the day, businessmen will just pass that on to the supporters in what they charge on the price. So, if you're going to make a protest when you're allowed back in the ground, literally boo the crap out of it for. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it does work in the end if the owners are so. But if they're not there, they're not taking a lot of heat. But if there's constantly a problem. Look at Mike Ashley. He must have skin like a rhino.
How long has he been there? He's been there for years now, hasn't he?
Yep, and he doesn't give a stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Trouble is, with that, has actually shown other owners the way to go. If you've got a thick enough skin, with the best will in the world, do you think Henry's going to leave Liverpool and that the Cronkies are going to leave?
I think there's more chance of out of two. There's more chance of the Cronkies going, but yeah, it's going to take. Even then, it's going to take a fucking hell of a long time to get them out.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work. The only way that Blackpool did it, and I just can't see us doing it because we all know some fans are fickle. Yeah,
I've seen since we went off air yesterday. There's fans on Twitter literally tweeting out, celebrating, and they've got tickets for the Brighton game, and I'm just like, whatever.
That's always going to happen, Ryan.
Yeah,
it's human nature, mate.
They best not take part in the protesting because they're just defeating the object.
Yeah, one of them, mate, is at the end of the day, you're going to get some people go, well, I'm not going to stop supporting the club. I'm going to go and this, that, and the other. And rather than have maybe, I don't know how long it would take. It maybe take a year of pain. It may take a whole season of pain. But you just imagine Blackpool. Look how long it took Blackpool to get
3 years to them.
But by the same token, it did work because he was hemorrhaging money. But again, half the fans turned up, half didn't. But thankfully, the gates being half full, was enough to tip him over the other way because he'd obviously thought we'll have so much of a gate, and that will keep us going. But it's, you'll get, as Greeny says in the chat, you'll always get day trippers.
Yeah.
Getting tickets and they'll sell them openly and anybody who wants to go will be able to go. But
Well, the first night, if you ask on YouTube, they do that like their own version of like Goggle Box for every match day, but they're like there for. And knows it the gangster granny or whatever, and her grandson. That obviously on I'll show you later, but that was the first tweet I saw. And he's like, "Yeah, I've got a ticket. No, actually, I've got 2 tickets. Oh yeah, what a coincidence! Someone that works basically gets paid by the club to act like a prat.
He's got 2 tickets in a lucky dip. What a surprise!
What a coincidence! What a coincidence!
I mean, that is literally the only way you can get an owner out. You can have him investigated and that, but he's got money for high price lawyers and all that. It takes forever. But the only way you can really do it is to everybody as a whole, as a complete unit, says, we're not going in the ground. We're not paying any money. I mean, you just think how long. I mean, no supporters have been allowed in the ground, and you don't see for a year now, and you don't see the Cronkies going anywhere, do you?
Exactly.
I mean, the Super League might have put them a bit more in debt, but it could take 2 or 3 years, to get rid of them. The only way, though, is to do that, is to completely, utterly boycott the game so there's no fans in them.
It was even worth saying as well, like maybe Cronky might hang on for another few more months or another year to see the Super League comes back to the surface. But UEFA's made all the clubs that's currently withdrawn, made them sign a contract that says they can't do that anymore.
Yep.
And if they were to form a league, a European league, they have to involve UEFA and FIFA before going forward with it.
I mean, I'm not being funny, Ryan. I can see years of hurt here. I really can. I can see no money invested in the team. I can see what we're seeing already. Very, very. The recruitment's starting to get a little better, but there's been years and years of mismanagement. We have an owner who doesn't want to put money into the club, who only wants to bring it out. Our match ticket day prices are absolutely shocking. But unlike, you look at the German model. The German model is so much better for the fans. I mean, they're just, Sky rip us off.
Of course,
the owners rip us off. Everybody rips us off, mate. You go for a match day pint. You're paying upwards of £9 for a pint. It's you look at the German model. If you climb on a train and you travel, you only pay so much. Your match day ticket is limited to so much as an away fan. I love that model. I think the Germans get a fantastic deal out of their football, and they run it really well. Same with the VAR. Me being a referee, the VAR over there, they don't have a problem with it at all. No,
they had teething problems at first, but not to this extent.
For a league that is meant to be the best in the world, it treats its supporters appallingly.
Oh yeah,
it's appalling.
Sky today are boasting that them BBC, Amazon, and BT Sport have agreed a deal in principle. There's got to be
for billions. $5 billion, and we're going to give the Championship 100 million of that.
Yeah, exactly.
5 billion coming in, but the Championship we're only going to get 100 million of that.
But that's fair, though. Apparently.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
In their world, mate.
It's amazing how they did all this when it was all kicking off. It was like, football's for the fans. Da, 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 da. It's like, at the time, we were calling out the hypocrisy and all that at the time. And suddenly, as soon as the Cubs have pulled out and all that, things have gone quiet now. Them wordings have now disappeared suddenly. It's suddenly back to normal as you were, people. But by the way, prices will be going up at some point. I know that's like whatever.
Cheddar's, yes. Cheddar's in the chat puts a very interesting one in question for you, chaps. Would you have a weaker league? It means fans are treated better. What I'd actually like to see, Cheddar's, is all the way around the world, them literally put a cap on what you can charge fans to go in the ground. That way, it's utterly fair. If you turn around and go, £50, that's it. Match tickets, £50.
No matter who the opponent is, this is the maximum price.
Yeah, that's the price you can charge, nothing more.
Because at Arsenal, I don't know if it's the same at Liverpool, Jedders, or anyone else. But Arsenal, there's categories. It's like for the North London Derby, Man United, Liverpool, the Chelsea games. It's category A, and that's like for memberships. If you haven't got a particular, you're not a disabled member, where you get half and a free ticket. Apart from that, all other members have to pay like 90 quid. That's the minimum.
No, I'm not being funny. If you're rich as Croesus, it's not a problem. But your ordinary working stiff, say, taking, I don't know, home 300, 400 a week, and he wants to take his 2 kids and the missus to the match, you're talking 360 quid. Then you're talking, your boys want the new shirt. There's another 60, maybe even 70 quid in some places. Then you're talking about all your food, the match day program for 7 quid each. There's another 28. You're talking the best part, 500-600 quid.
Well, yeah, I mean, what was it today? Chelsea Van Velden next season's home kit because they're going to wear that for both cup finals.
Yeah,
starting this, and someone went on their site and basically they put the cup. They chose a cup font, like Mason Mount, and with that, on top of the normal price, it's like 120 quid for the shirt.
Yep.
I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Back again, 15, 16 years ago, when the shirt came out, the most you'd have to pay for a shirt was £35. It wasn't this 60 quid for a regular shirt or 100 quid if you wanted the athlete style. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, the powers that be have allowed this to get out of hand. Because I said it used to be new shirts come out on day of release, 35 quid. He wouldn't mind that because it was every other season or every 3 seasons. Now it's every season.
Yeah. The Greenie makes a good point. The average ticket to watch Bayern at home is 176 quid. Yeah, it is. But have you seen what the away price is? When you go away and you follow your team in Germany, it's massively subsidised. And the travel as well. I mean, you think about the travel. I mean, what would it cost you to go watch Arsenal at home for a season? Yeah, and travel to every single away game. Now, I remember as a youngster, I used to hop on a train and go to a ground where you get you pay at the turnstile and go in, and I'd go home and away. If it was miles and miles away, sometimes I couldn't go. But the majority of games I was able to go to, and if you can go to the majority of games, then you're sort of like, that's brilliant. You couldn't do that nowadays. No chance.
Oh no! And Queenie in the chat says, "Comes like he said, he's saying he agrees. He's just using it as an example." Yeah.
Yeah, home games. Yeah, no, I totally agree, Greenie. But they do look after their supporters when they're travelling away, which is quite nice. I think, and as we were saying before about, where you've got Kroenke and everything else all thrown in, and you look at the sides and the teams, and you just say the money that you have to spend to follow them nowadays is absolutely incredible compared to what it was. Think about when you went. I mean, I started going in the 70s, and I remember going and it costing £5 to get in, and you had maybe £1 for a match day program.
Well, Shane in the chat says, "Hi lads, I brought my boy to a match at the Emirates. It cost me €1,000 for a weekend in London, plane tickets, hotel, and changing over from the euro to our sterling."
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, Shane. And I believe you're in Ireland, aren't you? So that's not very far at all, is it? Yeah. They're not with Liverpool. So and I'm not being funny, mate. When I was younger, that would be, I don't know, about a quarter of my wages.
Yeah.
a quarter of my, maybe even a fifth of my wages to actually go and watch. But what I'm trying to say is that I could afford it with no problems.
Yeah.
I could go home and away. I could go on a train up to bloody. I remember going to Sunderland in the early '80s when they had the old Roker Park, and it was a horrible terrace. And I think I've told you about this before, Ryan. My worst away game ever, and it cost me a total of £70. That was going all the way to Sunderland on the train, getting in the ground, having a match day program, and travelling all the way back, and food as well.
Yeah, I've seen the pen being given, by the way. It's what Scott doing, I don't know. He's like that, and the ball get pinned in.
Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, and then Bailey goes in for the ball and wins. But yeah, wins the ball, but fucking Phillips goes flying in the air.
You look at Sunderland. Say Sunderland came down to play Arsenal now. You know what I mean? That's not. You're not paying a fifth of your wages or a quarter of your wages to come down here and watch.
No,
you're really not.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the powers, the FA and the government, need to fucking get their head out of us and stop being greedy. It's down to them, though. Why we're in this situation, why clubs have done this. And it was not a penalty.
I would absolutely love it if they just turn around and they go, right, there is absolutely no way you can charge more than, I don't know, £50 for a ticket. And I think that's fair. And then the Championship 25 and so on and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, remember Mum telling me about what was the FA Cup final in 1980 between Arsenal and West Ham when Trevor Brooking scored a winning goal and all that.
Yeah.
So he's not a football fan himself, but my granddad, her dad, and my uncle, massive West Ham fans, obviously, so they were able to get tickets. And for all three of them, it was like 10 of my granddad and £5 for them at a concession. For a cup final. And look! You have to break. You get it for cup finals. You have to break the bank. Yeah,
I mean, I was very, very lucky. I'm sort of super lucky being a referee, and I'm not giving it away. But you go into a pool for tickets. If you finish in the higher echelons of your division or your league or your football association, wherever you're refereeing, and you finish it, then you go into a ballot for tickets, and you can get tickets for the cup final. But for the ordinary supporter, you've got to be absolutely rich as Croesus, really, to be able to go to these games now.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? The Champions League today? The Champions League, the UEFA confirmed the Champions League final to be in Porto as well. So, Man City and Chelsea fans got to travel to Portugal.
Yep.
And they've obviously, what it's going to be is they can't even stay overnight. They've literally got to travel there on the day, go to the stadium, go literally from the airport to the stadium, see the game, come out the stadium, in a taxi or whatever, back to the airport and out again.
Yeah, well, the corruption is rife, Ryan, and I speak really from experience here, because you're looking at, they wouldn't hold it in London because all the UEFA delegates want to come. So they all want to be at the Champions League final. So because we can't let them in the country, they're not going to hold it here. And that's the sort of thing you're fighting against.
Yeah, the government said they can come, but they have to come now, basically. So they've got 10 days
to quarantine. And they're not going to do that because you know that. They're not going to be at the final. They're going to be there because they have to be seen. It was the same at the World Cup because obviously my mother was involved with the French delegate in 1970, and as a young lad, I mean, it was magnificent for me. Don't get me wrong. I was able to go to all the England games in the World Cup of 1970 in Mexico. I was able to go to the semi-final, the quarter-final, the semi-final, even though I was English and not. Do you know what I mean? And I was able to go to the final.
Yeah.
And which was absolutely brilliant. But, even though he was French, we went to the FA Cup final in 1970 and a replay.
Mm.
We got to go to every single final, which was brilliant because I got to see all the greats. But how can that be that a guy who's with the French Football Association can get tickets for every single significant game in England and the World Cup?
Yeah. Well, again, they wanted to but pick and choose what they wanted to go and see. And
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was privy to some of the greatest footballers, playing on the greatest stage in one of the greatest ever World Cups. But, which was brilliant as an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah,
but, wow.
That was it. That was the World Cup after we won it as well. So we're defending champions league.
That's right
as well.
Yeah, we got knocked out by West Germany 3-2, and they still reckon to this day that Gordon Banks was given something dodgy and Peter Bonetti had to go in goal, and he made an absolute howler. We were 2-0 up, if my memory serves. We were 2-0 up after about 50 minutes, and then we threw it away and lost 3-2.
Sounds like it might have been good.
But I've got to say, I was probably, you always say semi-finals are terrible, but the greatest semi-final possibly ever in a World Cup, and I was actually there when West Germany played Italy in the semi-final, and it was 4-3 after extra time, and Beckenbauer played with his arm in a sling. He dislocated his shoulder.
Sure, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was a magnificent game. It was boiling hot. Because I got to go to the Arsenal Liverpool on the with the double and everything. So that this was like this was my introduction into this is why I just fell in love with going to football and everything else. But I remember the day at Wembley against Liverpool, how the players were able, because you remember them shirts back in the day were like thick wool.
Yeah, literally.
And it was the hottest day I can remember being at a final for. It was absolutely baking. And obviously with it going the full distance to extra time, the players were just absolutely dying out there. There's a miracle how they were still standing up, to be honest. Nowadays, you'd be stopping for water breaks and dehydration breaks and all sorts,
Well, it will be next year anyway.
Yeah. But I as I say, I remember going to, I went to the Chelsea Leeds, the two Chelsea Leeds ones in 70. Because
Harris, was it Harris?
Yeah. She stopped dating him in 1974. They were seeing each other for about 3 years, and I just got to go to everything. I was so lucky. But how can a guy who works for the French Football Association get to go to all those games in England? What about the supporters?
1-1.
I'm not knocking it because I was able to go, and that was fantastic. But I got to see some of the best finals ever. Didn't like the 72 one much, but
yeah.
But,
oh dear, we all have them though. I was saying, I was born in '89, so any FA Cup final that Arsenal have been involved in my lifetime that we lost was 2001. Every other FA Cup final we've took part in was won, so I've been lucky in that sense.
I've pretty much had my fair share of equal measure disappointment and absolute elation. I'll never forget the 3-2 over Man United. The West Ham and Ipswich. Yeah. The West Ham and the Ipswich ones. We didn't turn up. We absolutely didn't turn up. We were absolutely abysmal, mate. Against Ipswich, they tore us to pieces.
Yeah, literally. And I think the West Ham one was just got I think the players just got cocky if they'd won the game. They'd even been kicked.
Yep. And they royally turned us over. And they, just to be honest with you, mate, they both West Ham and Ipswich on the day deserved it. Hi, Russ. Hi, John. On the day they deserved it.
Yeah.
But just think, as an 8-year-old, Ryan, I got to see Carlos Alberto goal live in the stadium. It was just, and I don't care what anybody says. If you take the picture, Chippy Brady, Shane, he was a magician. He was a magician, and I know that Graham Ricks also got into trouble, but honestly, they would. I can't explain it. They would move their body in such a way that would just throw defenders completely. And when you had Brady one side and Ricks the other, you know, they it was like a hip swerve, and they would just absolutely throw defenders all over the place. I see Brady without even, he was probably the first one to do it. And everybody goes, oh, Ronaldinho. I actually saw the ball come to Brady. We were playing Norwich City, and the ball came to Brady, and he'd already looked to see where Stapleton was, and without even looking, as the ball came to him, he just swiveled with the ball behind his back, and as he turned, the ball arrived at his foot, and he volleyed it about 40 yards straight to Stapleton's foot. It was amazing, and everybody in the ground just stood and gave him a standing ovation. But literally for the pass, it was absolutely out of this world. The guy was so talented. It was such a shame when he went abroad.
Still we got the best out of him though, from what I can make. From my time.
I'll never forget the drubbing we gave Tottenham. You know, the 5-0 was just.
Oh,
yeah, Greeny Brady was. Yeah, he was as good as Bergkamp, no question. I mean, because I got to see a lot of football, you know, around that time, and I went a heck of a lot. But you take into account the pitches, the state of the pitches. I mean, when you went to the baseball ground, it was a mud field. And I mean a proper mud field, not just muddy with some sand on it. It was a bog.
Yeah.
And how the players were allowed to tackle back then. I'm sorry, when you look at it, you know, people go Ronaldo, Messi, the greatest of all time. No, they're not.
Carpets.
Yeah, because they're playing football on carpets, and they're able to not be tackled anywhere near
to the level that
some of the things that happen. And I've got to say, people like George Best, Pele, seeing Pele in the flesh and seeing his movement and his ability to just glide across the turf was just absolutely incredible. And sometimes they never get put into conversation, but Beckenbauer, I mean, what an engine. He was everywhere. He was an unbelievable player.
Yeah, Green Mark says in the chat, Chelsea's pitch was awful. Again, from what I've seen, I mean, what was it? George. People say about George Best. Look how he played back then. Imagine him playing on a pitch.
What a player he was!
A modern day pitch. If he can do that on that sort of pitch.
I mean, I've seen great players, mate. I've got to say, I've never seen anybody as naturally talented. I mean, he came down. He played against us. And literally, the game ended up 2-2. But you might as well have just thrown another ball on the pitch for the others to play with. Because getting it off him was absolutely impossible. And Bobby Charlton was going mad at him through most of the game. But Best just got the ball and he just went, wow. Yes, Cheddars, I have. Yeah, he's a very fine player. Very fine player.
Yeah. Again, obviously, against Arsenal when it was at Liverpool. Every time he comes to the Emirates,
he's a quality player, mate. He deserves to be at your club. He deserves to be talked about in the same breath as your Gerrards, your Carragers, your Keegans. He was right up there when he was playing for you.
Nathan in the chat says if we lose this game, we're allowed to play on the centre back injury like they were this season.
Shane, that's I think the trouble is the money is one of the causes for it. Where he says that the talent is not as good as before nowadays. I mean, yes, it's different eras, and it's always difficult to compare different eras. But if you look at Maradona's another shout in the chat,
when the tackling was just about to start to be slightly different. But in the old days, defenders would go right through you. So the greatest I've ever seen, if you put Ronaldo and Messi back then, they would not have the level of success that they have now because of the tackling and the standard of the pitches. If you took, I suppose the fairest way to say is, if you had Best, Pele, Cruyff, Beckenbauer, and there were others as well, Gerd Müller for Germany as a forward, you've got to rival anything that Shearer or anybody or Henry has ever done. A magnificent centre forward. If you put all those players in today's game, they'd be easily up there with Ronaldo and Messi. No problem at all. Ronaldinho is getting mentioned in the chat. I was very lucky to get to see the other Ronaldo.
Brazil's Ronaldo,
What a player he was.
Yes.
I saw him play for PSV. Wow.
And that was before he peaked as well, yeah.
Yes, yeah. He scored 3. Cheddars, I would say Maradona's in the conversation, but I wouldn't say he's the best I've ever seen. I saw Pele live, and Pele was just wow. He was just different. If you didn't kick Pele, which they did in 1966, I mean, Portugal absolutely dismantled him up at Ayresome Park. But when I saw him play in 1970, the dummy he sold on the goalkeeper in a match against the Czechs was just and him and Bobby Moore, the greatest battle I've ever seen in my entire life was in the group game when Brazil beat us 1-0. Banks made that incredible save. Bobby Moore against Pele, it was just the best challenge I've ever seen between two absolute world greats.
Yeah.
People talk about Rio Ferdinand. Bobby Moore was infinitely better than Ferdinand. People talk about great defenders, Rio Ferdinand. Bobby Moore has to be up there with the greatest that have ever played the game, I think. I mean, to see him marking Pele that day was just incredible. He only lost him once, and that was the header that Banks saved.
But it says something about Pele. It says something how good Bobby Moore was when Pele holds him in such high regard.
Yeah,
even to this day.
I mean, Pele turned around and said the two best players he ever played against, that he ever saw. He played against one. He said, I never got to play against the other. Was George Best and Bobby Moore. That tells you something. I thought Cruyff was a fantastic team, because back then when I was a youngster and I was obviously going to all these games, Ajax were just the best club side going. They were absolutely incredible. They had Naeskins, they had Ruud Krol, they had Johan Cruyff. They were a hell of a side. But again, they were playing wonderful, beautiful football on pitches, which is sort of now like, the modern day Barcelona is now sort of, on that first thing from Cruyff and people like that. And their way of playing football. But you were talking about on terrible pitches and getting smashed. I mean, the defenders in the old days, mate, they just smash you 2-footed and nothing. And you get a free kick. You wouldn't hardly even be yellow.
Well, imagine Vinnie Jones nowadays. If Vinnie Jones was playing now against the Knights of
he just gets sent off every game, wouldn't he?
Against a prime Messi, wouldn't have done it. Like Vinnie Jones in his era of rules versus Messi of now or Ronaldo of now, he'd have a field day.
Yeah.
Off you go in the air.
I mean, I saw, if you've not seen it, guys, if anybody's listening in the chat, and I'm not waffling on too much, but if you go the full game of Chelsea versus Leeds in 1970, go and watch the replay and see some of the tackles that happened in that game. And I was there at the game, and that was, they call it the probably the worst game ever. No, it wasn't. That was pretty much standard. That was pretty much standard, mate. And they all call it the dirtiest game, but no, it wasn't. Go and check out, if you want to see a real dirty game, go and check out Leeds versus Barcelona in the European Cup semi-final in the early 70s. My God, that was worse than the Chelsea Leeds game in 70. It was absolutely shocking. You know, if you ever see video of what Portugal did to Pele at Ayerson Park in the '66 World Cup. That's right, Russ. I'm lucky to come out, mate. I found Katie Price. She actually doesn't want to leave, mate. I've tried to release her, but she's not having any of it.
Oh dear. Mark's saying in the chat, yes, he's saying that these. I'm assuming he's referring to Chelsea Leeds game. That he says that was war.
Oh yeah, Chelsea Leeds. The first game they were into each other, and what they did was Chelsea
They even had nicknames for each other.
Yeah, I mean Leeds battered Chelsea in the first game. Leeds should have won it easy. Sprake made a mistake, and then Chelsea scored an equaliser right at the death. But Leeds had so many chances to win it. And then when they got to, I think, it was Old Trafford. When they got to Old Trafford, we got up to the game, and you just heard that this won't end up the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Nathan in the chat saying it's like people saying Virgil van Dijk is the best centre back ever.
He's not. He's a Rolls Royce.
Have they watched Maldini?
Yep.
Yeah, so I was saying, have you watched Maldini play? Yap, Stam, Vincent Company, Martin Keown in their prime? Just a few.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking the conversations of those, you're talking the Italian centre backs of the day, back in the day, Nesta, Maldini, Baresi. What a player he was. Dirty, but what a player. And they had a guy who used to play for Italy called Gentile, and you didn't go anywhere near him.
2-1 Liverpool. Firmino just got.
He's gone downhill a lot, hasn't he? Firmino, he's not been the force that he was.
I think he'd be part. I think he'd be part of the exodus this summer because Liverpool do need to change things about a bit this summer.
I'll tell you what. Now, Konate and Van Dijk next year, Liverpool are going to be one hell of a force because I really rate Konate. You know, he's big, he's strong, he's quick. Yes, Greeny, Gentile. You didn't want to get kicked by him twice. He literally ran around the field just booting people. He'd do what Souness used to do to Liverpool in the late 70s. You know.
Yeah,
he'd just go and bully the midfield completely.
I mean, it says a lot about football back then. Who is it? I'm trying to think. It's the European Championships, France versus Germany, wasn't it? They hated each other back then.
Oh yeah, with the Battiston, with Schumacher.
Battiston and Schumacher, yeah.
Yeah, when he came out and deliberately just took out Battiston, flattened him. I mean, how you don't get a red for that?
But anyway, it doesn't know. He wasn't subtle. He literally leg in the air, showing it, booted the player.
Yeah, just went through him, didn't he? Literally body checked him.
Yeah, we call it body check.
And the trouble was, poor old Battiston didn't even see it coming, did he? He only had eyes for the ball. He just got absolutely cleaned out.
How his head stayed on, I don't know.
But you look at if you see that Chelsea Leeds semi-final replay, Eddie McCready actually kicked. He kung fu kicked Billy Bremner in the head, and he didn't even get a penalty.
No,
he didn't even get a card. It was like, what? It was. How can I put it? Because Chelsea at that time were seen as the Kings Road boys, and they were all a bit flash and a bit this, that, and the other. And Leeds were very professional. I hate the word professional. Leeds were just a dirty team, and they could play. Don't get me wrong, they could play, but they would boot you as well. And Chelsea that day stood up to them, and it just turned into a war. Really, Greeny's absolutely right. It was an absolute war.
He was still standing after 90 minutes, basically.
Well, I'll show you how bad it was. Mick Jones of Leeds I remember him smashing Peter Bonetti, and I always remember in the replay wondering how the hell Bonetti was able to stand up in goal because his leg was completely covered in a bandage. One of his legs was completely covered in a bandage because Jones just went right through it. That was in the days when you could challenge the keeper. He smashed him into the back of the net.
Here's another one from Mark. Johnny Giles.
Yes, yeah, he was, yeah, but boy, he could play. Great dead ball specialist. But again, him, Bremner and Hunter, wow, what a trio they were.
Mm.
I mean, I remember we had one in the 70s. We had Peter Simpson, who eventually, he got done for racketeering, prostitution, forgery. Yeah, I mean, he was a bad one. He was a bad one, and he was every team. Leeds had 11 enforcers. We had one. We had Peter Simpson, and he was. I always remember watching him against Leeds United, and in the space of 10 minutes, he flattened both Bremner, Giles, and Hunter. he didn't give a toss. He was as hard as nails. Yeah, Russ has put Norman Hunter, Francis Lee in there. Franny Lee actually won that one. You know, you see him going off the pitch, and Lee was definitely winning when they got split up again.
No, thank you in the chat saying Italy had a problem with match fixing and paying off officials as well. Yeah, just
God, yes. They definitely did. Definitely did, mate. Anybody, and it wasn't just Italy back in the day. If you watch the Leeds Bayern Munich European final, I think it was 75. Unbelievable. The referee afterwards was admitted that. I mean, he got a fur coat. He must have got a good couple of BJs off of the ladies that were in his hotel room that night. It was absolutely incredible. The decisions that were made in that final, absolutely no question that the referee had taken a bun. Yeah, Russ has put in the chat about Johnny Giles smacking Kevin Keegan. Yeah, and Keegan thought it was Bremner, so he got up and started having a go at him. Yeah, Shane's absolutely right. Giles, I think Giles was playing in the young team at Man United, I think, at the time, when he got his leg broken, and after that he would go and get the player. I'm not sure if I'm right there. I think he was at Man United youth team and he got badly hurt, and when he went to play for Leeds, he just, they could knock the ball about, but. Some teams, I mean, they had one game against Southampton where they beat them 7-0, and they were just olaying and passing the ball about and doing flicks and tricks, which back then wasn't seen as, sort of showboating then. And you have to say that most of the Southampton players looked petrified to go anywhere near Leeds.
Childers is saying in the chat, 5 teams are allowed in the Champions League next season if Chelsea finish outside but win the Champions League. Okay. They did that before for years, a couple of years, didn't they?
Yeah, they did it for Liverpool after they won.
Yeah, and thank you. Yeah, as I said, smash that like button up. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Share the content around as well. As I said, we're back tomorrow for a podcast, and then at Rangers Aberdeen on Saturday afternoon, then Arsenal women on Sunday, 3:00 kickoff. Then the next week, obviously, Palace game midweek, but everything else was falling into place near the time. Oh dear, but yeah, half time in Liverpool winning 2-1. Who would have thought?
Every player on the bench were involved. It used to be. Steve, yes, absolutely. I'll give you one, and it happened in a game I was running a line for. It used to be a regular thing in hockey in the league, but there was I'll give you. We were playing a pre-season friendly over in a place called Hadnam. I was running one line. There was another lad, and there was a chap called Brian Sinclair in the middle of the field. And after 7 minutes, there was an absolute horror tackle, 2-footed, on one of the players. Now, this was meant to be a charity semi-final. Get this, right? Charity semi-final, so it's a pre-season friendly tournament, and the guy's gone through him. The brother of the player is on the sidelines on the bench. He's come flying on, clocked one of the players. Next thing you know, 22 men having a brawl in the middle of the pitch. The dugouts where the substitutes are have all cleared. There are spectators on the pitch. There are punches being thrown all over the place. Finally managed to restore order after about 5 or 6 minutes because we're just standing there with our books taking names. Brian then calls us over into the middle. We give all the names of the people. He's got the protagonists. Brian has then literally lined up 7 players, 5 from one side, 2 from another. He's gone bang red, bang red, bang red, bang red. You've only got 6 players. We can't continue the game. Match abandoned. Pick the ball up and turn around to me and Shane and said, "Come on, chaps, we're off." And we'd already been paid. I think I got 40 for the middle in it. I got 40 for running the line, and Brian was on 60. And the match was abandoned after 7 minutes because they couldn't continue because they didn't have enough players left on the pitch. And both teams got thrown out of the league.
Yeah.
And that was 4 years ago. And I'll give you another great one. You'll love this one. About 10 years ago, there's a chap, I won't name him, but a West Indian gentleman, and he was refereeing a game on a local park here down in Aylesbury, and he sent a player off, and the player drove his car onto the pitch and tried to run the referee over.
Oh, bloody hell.
That's absolutely true. And all the referee did was go and stand behind the goal where the net was. You know, the guy driving the car on the pitch. Eventually, they managed to restore order, got the guy away, and he got banned for life.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, there's some weird things go on in football, mate. I've seen referees lock themselves in the changing room until the police turn up because there's players banging the door to try and get at him.
Jesus Christ.
It's the side of football people don't sort of see or talk about a lot. But as a referee, you get to see it all. You really do. It only takes one idiot, mate, or you get a team that's got idiots in it. I mean,
We saw that the other week with that mob, Old Trafford.
Yeah, I mean, we had. I'll give you, for instance, mate. We've had. I'm not going to mention the team, but in the league I referee in, which is good standard, we've had a team thrown out because they've amassed that many cautions and that many sendings off and that many sin bins that they're literally bankrupting the club. So the club just folded the team. They just folded them.
Absolute idiots.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking real nasty stuff. You know, they're at it from moment one. Retro NUFC. Take it you're a Newcastle fan?
Yeah.
Welcome.
How you doing? Yeah, well done to Newcastle, by the way, staying up and all that.
Yeah. I bet you love Willock, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcome for that, by the way. You're welcome.
He's going to love Arsenal because we've kept him up this year.
I was about to say, it does. if you think about it, the points that have kept him up are from Joe Willock's goals.
Yes.
Since he's arrived in January.
Yeah, Retro's going to love Joe. He's going to love Willock.
Oh dear. Well, tough. We're having him back in January. We're going to have him back in summer, probably.
Yeah. The trouble is, though, we'll have him back and he won't play him.
Yeah.
You know what Arteta's like. I mean, let's not gloss over. You know, okay, we've won that, and our league position's looking quite. But you can't. It's papering
as well.
It's papering over the cracks, isn't it? Let's face it.
Of course it is.
You know, you're going to get people go, "Oh yeah, but we got more points than last year." No, we should have been doing so much better.
I mean, with the players we signed, and the squad we had anyway, but with the additions we made onto it, we shouldn't be only 5 points better, potentially, if we win our next 2 games, 5 points better rather than last season, and a position higher, or 2, if you're lucky.
I think, talking of the Champions League this time round, if Chelsea win it, then I would think that, because let's face it, Tottenham, they're perennial bottlers, and West Ham and Everton have all been in a position to have a real strike at the top 4, and they've all fallen by the wayside. They've all blown it, and you just get the feeling.
It's like as you said, especially West Ham more recently, in the sense of they've had the opportunity to put a foot. Basically, what was it? Leicester this weekend lost 4-2 to Newcastle on Friday. So West Ham had an opportunity to put pressure on them, get back into it, and they bottled it.
Yep. And you just think, don't you? You think if Chelsea do win it, there's every chance then that you'll get 5 clubs in it.
And again, I've said I'd like to see West Ham in it. To be honest, they deserve it this season out of all the teams there, because no one never expected them to be up there. So,
well, my best mate's Millwall, so nah.
Yeah, for safety purposes, you have to say that.
Yeah, no, not having that. Not having that. Because always it's been if I couldn't afford to go to Arsenal, it was always going to Millwall with a mate, and say that live on stream, I'll get my head kicked in.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. For safety reasons, Warren is having to say this.
No, it's and I've got the softest of spots for Millwall because they get a bad reputation, but whenever I've gone, it's always been a great time. But Arsenal were my Prem club, Millwall were my Championship club because they're never going to get out of the Championship because they just don't have any cash. But got to say that the manager there, with the lack of resources that he has to finish 10th or 11th in the league, is absolutely stunning. But and I sort of have a team for each division, as it were. But whenever I couldn't afford to go to Arsenal away, I'd be off down Coldblow Lane, and I've never had a bother.
It's all cleared up at Old Trafford as well. There's no fans there now.
Barcelona are after Arteta, Greeny. Really?
Really? When was this?
Oh my God! Please. Hey, they can. I'll tell you what. I'll buy his plane ticket.
I don't get why though.
Oh, it doesn't matter, Ryan. Just let's chip in and get him a plane ticket.
Oh, what am I talking about? They're watching us. He's a fantastic manager.
He's awesome. Take him. If you're watching people from Barcelona, Arteta is an absolute tactical genius. It's just pure envy in previous shows when we've given him any stick. His choice of substitutions is fantastic. He will get older players for your club that will perform absolutely sensationally well. Willian's been absolutely brilliant at bringing the drinks out after 65 minutes. And also, he will bring your youth along by playing them all the time. So if you are watching representatives from Barcelona, also he does a great line in jumpers. So you'll be able to sell quite a few of them and coats. So you'll be able to put them on sale in the club shop and make even more money, because I know you're struggling with cash. And hopefully with a bit of luck, and maybe you could give us, I don't know, someone like Fatty in return, and you can have someone like Willian, who's been superb for us this year.
Absolute baller. He'll rip it up and he'll win you the title in no time. Oh dear.
I think it would be a great idea.
Coleman had a meeting with Liverpool yesterday, so looking like he's off. So I'm putting our Twitter out there. Sign aging players from potential Champions League winner. Yeah, exactly. He's an absolute genius, Cheddars.
Yeah.
Tell him KSC will pay them $5 million to take our Twitter.
And if you are out there watching, representatives in Barcelona, you need to take him before Stockport County come in with a bid.
Oh dear.
You certainly can retro. I would imagine Ryan will have no problem with that retro. We're always happy to support other people's channels on here.
Exactly. Just give me information about your channel and plug it away as well. Just don't overdo it all the time. As long as you ask, I got no problem.
Stick this one on there, mate, and I'll come across and give you a follow and have a look at your channel. And you can tell us a bit more about how much you love Mike Ashley up there. 3-1.
3-1, bloody
Wow.
hell. Just kicked off my screen. Jesus.
Wow.
It won't be long then. Liverpool definitely going for a push, aren't they, to try and get in that last spot.
See, Liverpool, we did you a favour yesterday by winning then. Because
Yep.
otherwise, you'd have no chance. We're going back to see now what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, they're just going to put the pressure on and see what happens, aren't they?
What is Luke Shaw doing there?
Now, you see,
Oh, my-
everybody keeps going on about Luke Shaw,
Henderson.
but I've never been
Henderson.
convinced by him.
Yeah, Firmino, literally Henderson has a howler again.
I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of goalkeepers now that are starting to make all sorts of howlers.
Hmm.
You know, it's very, very seldom you can turn around and go, name me a goalkeeper who hasn't made at least one or two or three howlers in the season.
Yeah, exactly.
So almost seems like it's becoming a dying art where they want players to be more, where they want goalkeepers to be more footballers than they do shot stoppers.
Hmm.
I don't think that's a good trend. There's a chap I've seen, Maximiano, goalkeeper.
Hmm.
Maximiano and Donnarumma are the best two young goalkeepers I've seen.
Yeah.
I'd take either of them at Arsenal in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
Oh, one of
With
them's-
Ryan as a backup. Get rid of the other two.
Yeah, and one of them's free this summer, as it stands.
Yeah. I don't care what it costs. Go and get Donnarumma. Because I tell you what, I'd have Ryan as a backup. And you can get rid of Leno and you can get rid of that absolute clown that we have as a third choice keeper. I'm not kidding. You wouldn't even have him in your 5-a-side team.
Send him to Millwall. He'll do well there.
I'll tell you what, they've actually got a decent goalkeeper in that Bartlowski.
Yeah, I know you're
Wow,
about. Yeah.
he's decent. He's decent, mate.
Mm.
No, I don't. If you're going to send Runnison anywhere, send him to Tottenham or West Ham. It's fine. They're looking for a replacement for Lloris, so that'd be all right.
Russ saying to hang on, that's not good. Well, let's be honest. We're never going to catch bloody Liverpool, were we? Let's be honest.
John.
Oh dear. But the thing is, if we say this in the public on Twitter or on these sort of streams, we're seen as bitter and twisted. We don't know what we're talking about. May not have fucking the favourable team all of a sudden.
Yeah. It's I think it's for me it's kind of important that you have Man United and Liverpool in the Champions League. I honestly think that, and I think City are obviously going to be there as well. But it doesn't seem. It wouldn't seem quite the same with a West Ham playing in the Champions League. Not that I'd hold it against them, but
Well, again, they would have. If they get there, they deserve it because they've worked their bollocks up to get there.
Yes, yeah. You see, that's another player I want us to go out and buy because I watch him all the time and he's wonderful. I really rate him, and that's Declan Rice. Just go and get him. Because West Ham are a selling club. At the end of the day, Karen Brady and the two pawn merchants, they've got no problems with. Just give Karen Brady a nice young lad for a little harem, and we can have Declan Rice. As long as he's hung like a donkey, she'll be happy.
Oh my God! Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying she puts it about.
Cheddar's in the chat saying Leicester have Chelsea and Spurs for their last 2 games of the season, so they might bottle it again. They could do. They could do, but they win the FA Cup. If they win the FA Cup, I don't think they'll give a shit really.
Yeah.
Greenwich,
that's a decent shout, mate. But when I watched Declan Rice the other day. They lost to Man United, but he was bossing people around the back four. He was telling people where to play passes, telling people when to go in for a tackle, who to mark. You know, he was really a leader, and we lack that. We lack that on the pitch, and I'd be more than happy get him in, give him the captain's armband, because I think we'd improve no end. I mean, let's face it. No, what we got at the moment, Aubameyang, really?
Well,
Aubameyang couldn't give us stuff about the club.
There's rumours today that Lacazette's going to be offered a 1-year extension to his contract. So maybe that means that maybe Aubameyang needs to be looked to be sold in the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be Lacazette, maybe, because as far as I'm concerned, he plays far better with the likes of Smith Rowe and Saka than Aubameyang does. Aubameyang offers you nothing unless the ball's in behind. He can't hold it up. A stiff breeze knocks him over. His first touch when he's under pressure from defenders is shocking for a player who's worth that amount of money. He traps it further than I can kick it. Russ in the chat. You wouldn't be the first one, mate.
Well, there's one of them, isn't there?
Yeah. Honestly, mate, it's you might. Well, I don't know what your situation is, Russ, but I hope you're a big lad, mate, because you'll need to be.
Oh dear.
It's I'm not being awful, but you know, you have Katie Price at the, shall we say, the cut price end of the spectrum, and the rumours about Karen Brady are pretty at the higher end, shall we say? Greeny can kill you.
Oh God.
Steady, Cheddars.
Now.
We tell what you used to do in your spare time, then, Cheddars.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. Greeny, you're absolutely right, mate. I know a couple of. I know a bloke who works on the West End gate, and the rumours there apparently are pretty true. And I think Russ, how can I put this without it sounding awful? I think she likes the darker gentleman, Russ.
Yeah, she has a type. That's all we're going to say.
Yeah, she has a type, and if you're under 25, and yeah.
You're in there.
Yes. Although 5 minutes later she'll trade you to another club. Well, when she's finished with you, that's your lot, mate. You'll be passed on like a piece of worthless meat. So don't go there, bro. Stay here with us, mate. Tuck a golf ball through a hose pipe.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Right, let's get off this subject. Where were we? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe's in the chat saying, imagine starting our best centre back tonight. Tunazar, I can't pronounce his name, but yeah, the youngster they've got at Man United. Yeah, but you're captain.
He does look a good player. Gee, I often wonder what happened with the United players. Newcastle United beat City tomorrow. I think City will put out a poor side, Retro. I think. Well, I say a poor side. What am I talking about? They'll put out their second string, and they, supposedly, and I think
they'll make changes, basically.
Yeah, you could get a point. Because. The same with Manchester City. They're not going to want to put their foot in with some really, really important games coming up. I think you're good for a point.
I think it depends on also. It's all well good us saying that Man City will make changes. It all depends on what Steve Bruce and Newcastle's their mentality is.
Yeah,
No, yeah, I've been great. Pardon me.
I think if Newcastle go out there and they seem to be working hard under. I mean, let's face it, mate. Got to say, Willock coming to you has been an absolute lifesaver for you.
Literally, it saved him from going down.
Yes, it has. Because at one point there, Fulham were sniffing round you very, very closely indeed. And then Willock turning up has made all the difference.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like a point or two in it.
But I'll tell you what, we'll have Willock back at the end of the season, mate, and you can have William and a bloke called Xhaka. And we'll even throw in a third choice goalkeeper for free. In fact,
we're even phone Rob Holden as well.
Yeah, he's a well-grounded individual, mate. We'll like him. He's well-grounded because he can't even get it in the air.
Oh dear! He'll get out jumped by the smallest people on the pitch.
Can have Ceballos on loan. Russ, I love you, man. You do make me chuckle. yeah, you can have a right back. Yeah, Bellend, you can have him. Yes, you can have him. He can take throw-ins for you. Yes, he has been, mate. I think he's been the saviour of your season, to be honest with you, Retro. To be honest. I think he's...
Well, I keep saying it. You take his goal. You take Willock's goals out of Newcastle. Fulham make relegated as we speak. It's still open race.
A weekend without Arsenal, Greeny. I'll tell you what, mate. You can come and watch me referee on Saturday.
Oh, just as dramatic and entertaining.
I've got a couple of troublesome. I always seem to get the troublesome games now. You know, we need a strong ref on this one, Warren. Would you mind going and doing that? These two sides can be a bit of a problem. Would you mind reffing that one? I don't mind doing it, but you do get tired of the idiots after a while.
Navy's getting a bit confident in the chat now, even though he seems losing 3-1.
I'll tell you what, Nathy, you've got to be... Oh, yeah, we'll have a bar there, Mark. We'll always have a pint afterwards. Get yourself down to Aylesbury, mate, and we'll go for a beer. You've got... I would imagine Nathy's going to be really, really happy with... the two centre backs.
Liverpool just hit the post. Yotta.
Yeah. Oh, you're more than welcome, Retro, to be here, mate. We always and unlike some, Ryan is very, very good at seeing people in the chat and being able to talk to them. You don't ever want to forget people in the chat because they're what make your channel, really.
Exactly. So. No, exactly. As I said, it's free. We got to do is press the big red button. It's free, and you don't. As Lauren just said, you don't. Unlike other channels, you don't even have to pay to have your comments read out or anything like that.
Yeah. I always find that the height of ridiculousness. Why are you going to pay £2 or a £5 or £4 or a quid just to hear what we've got to say? Jesus.
Exactly. I mean, what we've got to say is worth more than what fucking Jamie Redknapp has to say for himself, but that's another matter.
Well,
but the thing is, the difference is we don't charge for it, as I said.
I'll tell you what, Retro, you'd have enjoyed it yesterday. We had a Spurs fan on here. That was good. That was good entertainment.
Yeah,
every time he made a comment, he dug himself a bigger hole.
Literally had us in hysterics.
Oh,
put it that way.
I was crying. Even Russ in the chat was folded up on his sofa with his hand over his face.
Oh dear. Like I said, you don't get this kind of entertainment anywhere else. Exactly.
No, it can be a little bit irreverent.
Literally, if you later on, if you've got spare time later, literally, there's I've uploaded it today. It was that entertaining. I went back, grabbed it, and I've uploaded it. He's got his own upload basically. We can just watch the 23 minutes of a Tottenham fan digging himself a hole basically. The thing is, as you see at the start, I gave him an opportunity to back out and have a normal conversation. He continued to do it, so he got what he deserved in the end.
Can't have a normal conversation with a Spurs fan, though, can you?
No, but I was trying to be unbiased, as I say.
I'm surprised Pete isn't back on tonight, to be honest. Or maybe he got such an arse whipping yesterday that he's sort of still trying to recover from it.
Well, next Sunday, or apparently, he said if by coming into the season we win our games and we finish above Tottenham, he's going to come back on here, ask for a link, be on with an Arsenal shirt, and apologise.
Do you know what? I give him major props if he does that, but I have to say,
unlikely. But if he does it, fair play to him.
It's highly unlikely. Christ, it's scary down here in Melvin's dungeon.
It's so dark.
Packing crying in the corner, he'll feed you later.
What would be even funny is if Melvin just randomly came in to see how things were going and just heard to say that.
I'll tell you what, Ryan, you'll be shocked if Melvin appears over my shoulder now, won't you?
Hi.
With his shirt off.
Oh, God. That's not all that'll be off if that is the case. Leave your imaginations run wild.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh, dear.
I'm sort of looking forward to the Champions League, but not looking forward to it because obviously if Guardiola wins it, everybody will go, oh, Guardiola, you know. But no, when you've spent 805 million and you still haven't won it, I'm sorry. In what universe is spending three quarters
no. Because who's back? Oh dear.
I can't see the chat. Who's back?
Our friend Pete was just been talking about.
Hello, Pete. Hello, nice to see you again, mate.
Oh no.
How you getting on?
Oh, Metro. This is the person we were talking about yesterday. Oh my God.
Yeah, Pete's good fun.
Yeah, it's all no, this was in it, so it's all laugh. He's come back, so he must have enjoyed it.
Always
himself.
nice to have a bit of banter.
But I noticed you didn't subscribe yesterday, Pete. You said you've got to subscribe. You never subscribed. What are you doing?
Yeah, come on, Pete.
You're going to stalk my channel. You're going to stalk me without subscribing. It doesn't cost you nothing. What are you doing?
You don't even have to pay for the super chats here, Pete. We'll put your comments up for free, mate, because they're brilliant.
Oh dear. Who's Tottenham actually got next? Was it Villa, haven't they? And they drew today against Everton.
You've got Villa, haven't you? You got Villa next, I think, mate.
Yeah, I think they drew today 0-0 against Everton. So they've done us a favour in that sense.
Yeah.
They've got one more game in hand, and hopefully they don't lose. I think that might be against Tottenham. So actually, no, I'd rather that be a draw, thank you. Worst case scenario.
But as Pete's in the chat, I've got a question for you, Pete. Were you in favour of getting rid of Mourinho before that final? I know you're probably in favour of getting rid of him full stop, but were you in favour of getting rid of him 4 days before the final? Surely not, given his track record in cup finals.
Well, considering they brought him in to win a trophy and he got him to a final.
Yes,
At least
brought him in
keep-
to win a trophy and didn't give him the chance to win it. I mean, that's logical, isn't it?
Oh dear.
I mean, you've got to be as disappointed in your season as we are in ours. You have to be, surely.
Well, Pete, of course you can subscribe, Pete. Just be your dirty little secret no one knows about.
Yeah, we won't tell anyone. Pete, it's going to be Pete. Just press the subscribe button, mate. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
We
I know
won't
it's
tell
red, but it's
anyone
not.
what you're doing.
I know it's red, but I can't help that. That's YouTube thing. I didn't choose the colour.
Just think, when you click on the Spurs one, it pops up red anyway. So
Oh dear. What a laugh.
yeah, you were hoping for that manager bounce, weren't you, Pete? But you know, you played exactly as Greeny says in the chat. You played exactly the same way in the final. Only Mourinho's got more experience of doing it. I can't see why you wouldn't just let him have that game.
We just didn't even really try, did they? They didn't even.
And do you know what? You say the guy's style is outdated, but it'll be perfect for Roma. I think the Italian league suits him down to the ground.
It's 3-2 now, apparently.
3-2. Here we go.
Game on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark says stack Jose and played the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 3-2. Rashford with a goal.
Excellent. That'll buy a few more. That'll buy a few more school dinners.
Cheddar's now crapping himself in the chat, probably. Oh dear, that's what happens when you have an amateur in charge. But yeah, it was just abysmal watching that final.
Yeah, I mean, it was attackers v defenders.
Yeah, literally.
It was like when we played Liverpool.
Yeah,
absolutely
a few weeks
attackers
ago,
v defenders. You were right, Pete. There's a problem with what you've just said there, and the problem is, mate, the moment Liverpool come calling,
he'll go running.
He'll be gone.
Yeah.
But Pete, yeah, he's absolutely right and I totally agree with you. He's turned Rangers round, but look what he's competing against. Look what he's competing against, mate. He's got a Celtic team that are in absolute disarray. And yes, he's doing well, but he's got to get through the Champions League qualifying stage, and he has to qualify from the Championship, from the European Champions League group. If he does that, then you can say he's ready, but I'm not so sure he is.
To be fair,
Pete,
don't get much
Pete's
choice.
not lost, Nathy. Pete's not lost, Nathy. He's just found his true home.
Oh dear.
Christy?
Don't,
welcome.
Don't tell his friends that though, obviously.
Yeah, don't. We won't tell anyone you've been on, Pete. Two nights in a row on an Arsenal channel, mate. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You keep your secret.
All you got to do is press the red button. Oh dear. But yeah, I think he's going to get to a point where someone like Gerrard will have to be an option for Tottenham, because all the top managers are either, obviously, Nagelsmann's gone to Bayern Munich. Ten Hag's saying he's had a meeting with him and went, fuck off, I'm staying with Ajax, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised. I mean, if you have a choice of going to Tottenham, Arsenal, or Ajax at the moment, you know where you're going.
Oh dear. I'm trying to say, basically, all the top options they're sort of trying to go for, all saying no, thank you. We'd rather stay where we are, or go somewhere else.
You don't want John Terry as your manager. No, that's a no-no job.
That'd be a bloodbath if he turned up at Tottenham as a manager. That'd be a bloodbath because of the rivalry.
Well, him and Ryan Giggs' cars would just be parked outside the players' houses while they're at training, wouldn't they? Shouldn't do that.
But where's the gaffer? He's round your house.
Yeah, he's gone round to see what.
What I mean?
Given their track record,
he didn't know that, did he?
Probably he's probably the ideal for the West Ham job. Him and Karen Brady can get together. Then.
Oh God! Jesus Christ!
Yeah, United is dominating the game from what I can see.
Maybe what a good goal, to be fair.
Yeah, don't think so, Greenie. I don't know. I think Giggs will be running down the wing, mate. A wing.
All the way to B wing. Oh dear.
He'll be trying not to drop the soap in the showers if he's lucky.
Oh dear.
Just in the chat.
Just when you think, obviously with Giggs, things couldn't get any worse and these private life being more public after what happened a few years back, this happens.
Mate, he's always been the rumour's always been that he's a bit naughty. Yeah, he's another one like Terry. He can't keep it in his pants.
Well, just ask his brother.
Yeah. I mean, to do that to your own brother, that's a bit.
And literally, what was it, over a decade as well?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Imogen Thomas is a bit of an old slap, but you don't do that to your brother, do you?
No.
It's he's ruled by what's dangling between his legs rather than the other way around. There has to be, that thing between your knees doesn't have a lot of conscience, so you have to speak for it.
Oh dear!
Can't go around doing that. Not to you. Certainly not to your brother.
No. Or when Alderman not have gone off for Mane and Curtis Jones.
Yeah. Yes. Nation in the chat is right on one thing that if he has done what he's accused of, he's done, isn't he? Why would you do that to your own legacy? You can get all the super injunctions you want, but it's not gonna help you.
I think Pete's had smoking something exotic tonight. Bell has already said he's going back to Real Madrid. He used it as a training ground this season.
Renewal of Bale's loan, Son and Kane. Yeah, but Kane won't be there. He's already said that he wants to leave, Pete.
And so is Bale.
What additional signings are you going to make, mate? What are you going to do with Davison Sanchez? Because he loses you 15 points a year. He's honestly, he is right up there with David Luiz.
Put him in goal.
John, the only thing Giggs is good at is keeping it in the family. Well, he did that all right, yeah. No, Russ, it's not. Russ, it's not David Luiz hate, mate. He's just, that he cost you 15 points a year, and so will Davinson Sanchez. You could buy David Luiz from us, actually, Pete, and you could play them together in the same team as a back four pairing. The centre back pairing, dream team centre back pairing. David Luiz and Davinson Sanchez.
But also, Pete was on about talking about bringing a top manager in, but they're having trouble. They're already having trouble trying to attract a top manager to come in. So, and you're running out of names. As I said, you're running out of names. Now, Galsman's gone to Bayern Munich. Ten Hag he's decided to sign on for another year longer at Ajax. what other names are really going to be out there that you're going to be able to
Yeah.
approach that will want to come to you that are already at top clubs winning things?
I don't see you as top 12, Pete. I see you as possibly in the top 8. That's it. You're not going to make top 4 with the players you've got. You know, it all depends on the manager you get and what money he's given. Yeah, I think you're in the same position as us. You've got a stadium to pay for. But, you know, we okay, it took us years and years to, you know, pay for ours. But luckily, we had a manager who was able to get us in the Champions League most years without spending too much money. But you've got a stadium to pay for. These things don't run on love and kisses.
Yeah, and then, to be honest, they've got a lot more to pay off as well.
Yep.
Hell of a lot more than what we had when we moved there to the Emirates. But we've also with Arsenal as well. When we moved to the Emirates, everything that's set up it's all paid every year. There's a set thing paid off, and it's not, and it's all over a set amount of time. There's no additional fees added on and all that as well. So we're fantastic for that.
Yeah. Pete, I love your optimism, mate. Jadon Sancho isn't going to come to you, and he won't be playing for the second best team in London. Chelsea are ahead of you. I mean, right now, mate, you're.
I'm sorry, if Sancho's going to come back to England, there's only one place you want to go, and that's back in Manchester. And the team are watching now because he'll want to prove a point to the team that let him go to, but Dortmund in the first place, Man City.
Pete, you did. There's one thing that your owner has done really, really well. He's built a toilet bowl and then he's filled it full of shit.
The irony.
Yeah.
If there ever was any.
What two signings? Right, 2 signings then, Pete.
Come on,
2 signings to make top 4. Who are you buying? Who's Ryan Mason going to buy?
Who can you attract?
Yeah, the great Ryan Mason.
As we said last night and previously, in Mason we trust.
Yeah, Christian Eriksen, Jamie Redknapp. Who you buying? Come on in, Pete. Who's the 2 signings for easily top 4? Come on. You sacked your manager 4 days away from possibly winning a trophy, mate. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Russ in the chat says, at least we built a whole new stadium, not just built on the end and made it look like a toilet bowl.
I've got a question for you as well, Pete. That fire you had from the bloke who wouldn't sell, the bloke who wouldn't sell, and then all of a sudden his premises strangely burnt down. What you like with matches, mate?
Gasoline.
That was quite fortuitous that burning down at the time, wasn't it, mate?
Completely coincidental. Nothing in
it. Maybe you had to pay so much for the bloke to do that. But allegedly. Maybe you had to pay the bloke so much to do that you haven't got any money to buy any players. What do you reckon?
Pete, I can't help you tonight, mate. You're outnumbered. I can't. If you say, I think Vetro's gone quiet for a while, actually.
Yeah. Who have you got out? Who have you got out on loan that you're going to bring back?
Did they loan out Sasson? Ryan?
Yeah, no. They decided to. They decided to give old Samurai Bum Man a loan contract and bring these golf clubs with him.
Oh dear, got to laugh.
John in the chat.
Oh dear. Yeah, Pete. The last time Spurs won the league, the Queen was only 35 years old. Oh,
Pete,
dear.
I'm not being funny, mate, but and this is going to sound awful, and I don't mean it, but six members of the royal family have died since you last won the trophy, since you last won the league. What I'm saying is the omens are not good. I think there's more chance of Charles popping his clogs before you win the league, mate, to be honest. Oh, Retro's back. Good call, Terry. You could possibly buy some of Man City's cast-offs. We've done that with Chelsea, and it's worked out well for us. It is all about titles, Pete. That's finishing third or fourth is never a great thing. Hello, Ryan. Are you there, Ryan? I can't hear you, mate. Talking away there, I can't hear you. Well, if you can hear me in the chat, give us a thumbs up. It is all about titles. It's not about stature, mate. You've got to win things. It's no good coming second and third every year. It's boring as hell. So then you end up just being a bridesmaid every year, and that's no fun. Getting the finals are one thing, but you've got to get over that line. I can't hear Ryan in the chat, so I can't hear Ryan on the feed. So it's I've got to say you've got to Russ, see, look, Blackburn. So let's dip out and come back in again. Hello, mate. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear you at all. Ryan, you've gone mute. You? Can't hear you, buddy. Can you hear me, Russ? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear me. Lovely. Okay, guys. I'll carry on while we're waiting for Ryan. Gordon Davis. Yeah, good call, Brownie. Yep. Yeah, when you I mean, being honest here, if you're still in the chat, Pete, your club's in as much of a mess as we are. You can have healthy competition. Yeah, you might have fell slightly short, and you may think you'd have deserved it, but you sacked your manager 4 days before a final. Wow, that's absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy, and if you're going to make decisions like that, it's never going to turn out too well. I think you've got some massive. You've got an aging centre back. You've got a centre back who isn't very good at all. He's got real problems. You've got a goalkeeper who's starting to make mistakes. Are you back? Are you back with us now, buddy?
Yeah, I'm back with you.
Yay! There we go. Been keeping Pete nice and happy in the chat.
Yeah, I can tell.
Pete's more than happy. Pete's more than happy to finish third or fourth every year. We've been used to that at Arsenal, and we don't like it. But
that's as Henri said, mentality. Back when we won the league at White Hart Lane recently, 17 years ago. your players are celebrating. your players are actually celebrating an equaliser when all we needed was a point to win the title. 17 years ago, and it's a mentality thing. We're used to winning things. That mentality will never change within our fan base.
Can everybody hear Ryan now? Give us a thumbs up in the chat, John, if you can hear Ryan now.
I hope you can hear me.
Give us a thumbs down if you can't, and I'll carry on yattering away until it can get sorted. Terry in the chat, very good. Big Sammy's looking for a job, and I think Tottenham is the right challenge for him. I think they should be happy to,
Yeah, Big Sam would be perfect for Tottenham. Never won anything, so the perfect marriage.
I think it'd be brilliant because he could advise some dodgy Saudi Arabians and end up getting the sack after 60 days. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I can't even say I can't believe he did that because he's known for being dodgy in the first place.
Well, he's unbelievable, isn't he? I mean, Spurs have a history though of employing dodgy managers. Look at Harry Redknapp with his doggy bank account. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But who opens a bank account with a name of Bowser? You know what I mean?
Oh dear.
Oh, look, Satan has a bank account. Excuse me, sir, is this your bank account, the one belonging to Chuckles?
Yeah, John, can you hear me, by the way? You haven't actually come back and told us. Oh, dear.
I mean, I think, all joking aside, I think Tottenham are in just as much of a shambolic state as ours. And we want rid of him. The one good thing that we really, really have at Arsenal is no delusion whatsoever. We know Arteta's crap. We know that we need to get rid of at least 11 or 12 players. But Pete, God bless you. God bless you. You think you've only got to change 2 players and you're going to be top 4.
Plus, it won't. Plus, as it's been shown this season, it won't be easy. And like you're saying, it's going to be easy. It won't be easy. Trust me.
No, right. It's not as simple as that. You've got to have the right manager, the right tactics. You are guaranteed. Now you've got Rodgers at the moment.
Leicester, yeah.
You've got Brendan Rodgers up there. Guardiola's always going to be up there. Solskjaer's got the players to be able to challenge. And Tuchel showing that he's actually a decent manager. And there's 4 to start with. And then you've got Ancelotti at Everton. You've got Moyes breathing down your neck at West Ham. And somebody else will come out the pack to have a challenge. Maybe Southampton, if they invest really well, and maybe buy 1 or 2 players, because he's in a bad manager, and they're capable of upsetting a few people. And if they add 1 or 2 bits of quality, not so good.
Mate, Pete, we moved to North London to keep North London relevant. And it's 4-2. Salah's have scored. Mo Salah.
You still haven't forgiven us, Pete, have you? Yeah, I thought you would have moved on by now, mate. Honestly.
As I said, if it weren't for us moving to North London when we did, North London wouldn't be relevant.
It's going to be all right, honestly. You've got to learn to let go. There's a lot of cleaners there, John. They've actually been sponsored by Mr. Sheen next year.
Wouldn't surprise me. Oh my God, the fauna. How is this United team second in the league?
Terry, that's a great shout. Yeah. Yeah, when they keep singing "No One Likes Us," that's Millwall's song, mate. Leave it alone. What's the Southampton song, Nick Terry?
Oh, yeah, of course,
The
when
Saints,
the Saints go marching in. Yeah. Well, when have you ever been called the Saints?
Exactly. Oh dear.
Yeah, Chelsea did that a couple of seasons ago. They started that the Millwall song. No one liked it. Leave it alone, fellas. That's Millwall song. You know. But I'll tell you the worst one I've ever heard, mate. I went to watch, and Stefan, if he's in the chat, will know this. And all you heard from the Norwich fans for 90 minutes was follow, 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 follow the green and the gold. And that is the only song they had. It was awful, dreadful. Nathan, you're absolutely right. Sancho's going to go Man United, Liverpool, possibly Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Bayern Munich. That's it. No, Pete. What we were we were the really mature ones in the relationship, and we realised that it wasn't going to be good. It was time to move on. We were moving on to better and bigger and better things. And I think when you look through your history of the trophies that both teams have won, I think you'll agree that dissolving the marriage was a really good idea, because you were sort of like, how can I put it? You know that first marriage where you just do the time so you can get, get the right rung on the ladder, and then it's time to move on to bigger and better things. And it's gonna, you're that dilapidated old sort of, woman, really, Tottenham, who's surrounded by lots of cats who are just aging disgracefully and probably having a few belts of gin here and there, and you're surrounded by tons of cats. You're going to be all on your own, and all you're going to have is Daniel Levy for company.
Oh God.
And maybe you'd be able to make us, a decent lining from a coat.
Frankie saying in the chat as well, it says it could end badly for Tuchel. Chelsea could lose the FA Cup and lose the Champions League and finish outside the top four.
Imagine
that.
He's right. Yeah, he's absolutely right. You've got to say that Tuchel. I think Tuchel's done. I didn't think he'd be a massive success given what happened at PSG. He's proved me wrong, and I'm happy to stick my hand up. Bye, Steve. Nice to see you, buddy. And I think he's been absolutely a revelation. He's what he has done, which we couldn't sort out, and this is why Arteta is such a mess. Because Tuchel's come in and he's gone, right, in 3 weeks, he's gone, there's my first 11. We're playing with this. And he's getting a tune out of people like Werner and people like that. He's not brilliant yet, but he's getting better.
Yeah, Terry in the chat, big up Terry, says, I've got one for you, Pete. Some are loving Spurs have no chance of John Travolta or Olivia Newton-John. Oh dear, full time. There you go. Game over.
Well, Liverpool stay in the hunt then.
Yeah, but skin of the teeth.
Yep, done okay. So that's your Champions League all over, Pete, for another year, mate. You've got to go for.
Whoa, or the conference.
Yeah.
One of the two. You know what? I've actually pissed myself laughing. If Leicester win the cup, and because obviously in the cup you get a Europa League spot, so open up an extra Europa League spot. We, by some miracle, finish in that extra spot, and Tottenham finish in fucking the conference league spot.
Yeah.
I'd actually pissed myself laughing.
I mean, I think next year will be harder to get in the top four than ever. I really do. But you can't see Man City's not going anywhere.
Liverpool will probably have Van Dijk back. Manchester United will be challenging. You know, they've got enough of a decent squad to be able to sustain a push for the top four. Chelsea will be up there. You know they will. And Leicester will be there as well. So there's 5 clubs before you even start. And if I was going to back an outsider to probably come and join us and make it difficult for us in life, I would back maybe Southampton with 1 or 2 players added to their squad. They all of a sudden they purchase a couple of players of real quality, and they could make things difficult for those that are in, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, dear,
yeah, no problem. That's a good call, actually, John. You'll be back in a minute, won't you, Pete? Because it won't take you long to count that lot.
Oh dear. No worries, Terry. But again, we'll be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the podcast we're doing.
Yeah, nice to see you, Terry. Hit that like, mate, and subscribe if you want to.
Yeah, the podcast
always nice.
Going to be based on the Invincibles. Obviously, the Invincible season. This is the weekend. This weekend is going to be the anniversary of us completing the season unbeaten. So,
Frankie's right as well. Everton recruit well. They could be a problem.
Yeah.
So it's good. As much as I love Pete's optimism, he doesn't live in he's still in Narnia, mate.
Oh dear. With that, I think everyone's going, so we might as well wrap things up.
Yep.
4-2. Yeah, 4-2 in the end. Liverpool top four is still on for them. Got to be a bit of a shout. I still think, but you never know.
I'm not about tomorrow night, mate, because I'm reffing.
No, literally. As I said, doing the podcast, Mark, got to have a few guys on reminisce about the 03-04 season, some of the memories, have a bit of a laugh and an enjoyment podcast. So talk about the season of being downbeat, just have a bit of a laugh, and then, as I said, doing the Aberdeen Rangers versus Aberdeen on Saturday lunchtime. Arsenal win versus Crystal Palace in the FA Cup, and then again back for the men's watch along in the midweek for Arsenal versus Palace. But also have a podcast and other bits and pieces will be fitted in between it all as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for coming along. If you're new to the channel, like Retro and Pete, again, if it's you clearly love the channel, so please do subscribe to the channel. And
I will do, Retro.
Yeah, do subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, share the content around. Very frequent we are with the content recently, so we'll be keeping it up, especially going into the summer with the Euros as well. We're going to be covering not just the England games and the home nation games. Pretty much going to cover all the big games as well, like Italy, for example, Italy versus Spain, if that happened, and things like that. All the big group games, throughout the entire competition, obviously all the knockout round games, quarter-final, semi-final, and then obviously the final itself. And I might even throw in a bit of nice rugby in between it all as well if I find the time. You never know.
Sounds good, mate. And another attractive thing about this channel is you can always come here and watch Pete, who sneaks off out of the house without his missus knowing, which is Tottenham Hotspur, and goes and plays away with the other with a bit on the side, which is us. So if you're out there, Pete, we won't tell any Tottenham fans that you keep coming on the channel and that you secretly are red, aren't you, mate?
You secretly love us deep down.
Yeah,
you're a gunner at heart.
Yeah, we're the bit on the side that you can't leave alone, even though you're cheating on your missus. You know.
And with that, I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. As always.
See you guys. Take care, and to everybody in the chat, thank you for making it such a great show, because you are the show. And,
exactly. 100%.
What Ryan does is fantastic, and you don't get charged here for anything. It's really nice to see your comments in the chat, and this is a hell of a channel to be on. So, and big up to you, Ryan. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely no problem. And we'll sort of out about the weekend or even next week, get you back on as well. And yeah, as always, even though it hasn't been an Arsenal watch along tonight, up the Arsenal. European still on. Yeah, European football. Woohoo.